Hello, I'm Julian Roll, Chief Executive of Market Echoes, and I'd like to talk to you about my latest blog, which looks at the strategic marketing workshops we run for many companies. There are three key themes which keep appearing when we run these workshops: understanding customers, working with competitors, and the role of strategic marketing in the jobs of senior management within organisations. We tend to start our workshops with some icebreakers which look at the world of rock and pop music and how these impact on strategic marketing. And we use three examples. The first is the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones have been around almost forever, and they now tour the world, churning out live performances of all their tried and tested music. Wherever they go, they sell out very quickly. They can charge almost whatever they like. That's their competitive advantage. That's what they do. Another example is Madonna. She's been around not as long as the Rolling Stones, but for quite some time. What she does and what she performs is not as timeless as for the Rolling Stones. So Madonna just invents herself or reinvents herself twice a decade. So every 5 years or so, there's a new Madonna, a new form of music. Again, another form of using strategic marketing. Finally, Take That have been around, 20 years or so? They don't do anything particularly different, and what they do simply won't last year after year after year. So they come, they perform, then they disappear for a few years, and then they come back. Now, all three examples show what are the strengths of those particular performing artists, and how do they maximize those for maximum performance and, of course, exposure and revenue in front of their customers. We do this in our workshops because it really starts to get people to understand strategic marketing from a way that they can easily identify with. But then we start going into the nitty-gritty of them. So let's go back to those 3 points. Firstly, customers. Customers, what we work out through our workshops and what our clients start to understand is that today we need customers far more than they need us. So we really need to understand our customers. So what we tend to do is we tend to delve quite deep by looking at customers in terms of age profiling. Seniors, baby boomers, generations X, Y, and Z. And by doing this, we can really get under the skin of what makes these customers tick. And it's not just business to consumer, because business to business requires selling to people, and those people come from those different generations. We do a lot of work in our workshops regarding competitive advantage. So we start to then look at competition. What makes up the competition? Who is the competition? And we get our delegates to then start creating some little charts which show perhaps what are the 4 or 5 things that makes them competitively strong, and then matches those to the competition. It's really interesting. On the first run, what do we tend to see? We tend to see our delegates are way out in front of the competition. But as they start to look into things in a bit more deepness, then actually the gap starts to change and to narrow. They're not as strong as they might think. And we often say to our delegates on the workshops, just think about the sectors like insurance, airlines, and today's supermarkets. All the incumbents thought they were very strong because they didn't see what was coming to hit them. New players in the market coming up with very innovative solutions on how to maximize their impact. Finally, the role of senior management in strategic marketing. And it's not a great one. One of the first things that we tend to come together on is that the marketing director in an organization ought to be as important as the finance director, but he or she rarely is. Think about it. The finance director needs the cash, but where does the cash come from? It must come from the marketing director. Also, we start to get and talk to our delegates about getting their senior management, or themselves if they're senior management, really immersed in the life of their customers. Really experience what's going on from the point of view and perspective of the customers. Because if they do that, they can work much more innovatively to provide the sort of strategic marketing solutions that their customers actually need. Those are just some flavors of what we do on our strategic marketing workshops. We'd love you to get in touch with us because I think we could really show you how those workshops could contribute to your success.